we need to have the hard conversation. After the murder of George Floyd, and certainly if you've been following the news, another Black man was shot 7 times in the back by Wisconsin police officers. And obviously, there were riots less than 24 hours ago. And often people say, why are we at this movie again? Well, if we were to look back in history, specifically to the 1700s, what was going on during that time is that slaves were only considered three-fifths a human. I'm curious, how many of you remember in American history ever being taught that Black people or slaves were three-fifths a human? Just put yes or no in the chat. Because if this is the first time that you're hearing this, you're probably wondering about the backstory. And the backstory is whenever they were considering uh, the number of seats in Congress, they were deciding how they would count slaves. And so it was decided by the founding fathers of America that slaves would only be accounted three-fifths a human. Now, when you look at that, the deeper root of that is that whites were superior and Blacks were inferior. And that has been baked into the DNA and the culture of America since its founding. And so here we are all over again, where everyone is in an uprace to understand what's going on. And if you're ready to wake up and speak up, just put yes in the chat. Because if you're ready to wake up and speak up as a leader, here's what I want us to think about. Real leadership is about leading change. Everything else is managing the status quo. And when you decide to lead change, here's what we have to understand. How do I move from unconscious incompetence to unconscious competence? In other words, when I have unconscious incompetence, I don't know what I don't know. But when I move to unconscious competence, I know, and I'm practicing every single day to get better. I want to give you 5 quick tools that you can implement immediately to really think about this journey that all of us are on together. Are we making an emotional commitment or rational commitment as it relates to diversity and inclusion? Emotional commitment is we as a chapter, we do what we do because we want to do it. Rational commitment is we do it because we have to do it. In other words, it's the hot topic and it's the flavor of the month. And making that emotional commitment really starts with when we recruit at the college level for people to join this amazing real estate profession. Are we intentional to let them know that we are committing to you and we want you to know that you belong? So creating belonging, critically important as you invite people into this amazing field. Here's the other thing from a chapter level. When you look around your leadership, is the leadership group intentionally diverse or does everyone look like you? When you make that emotional commitment, someone will raise their hand, speak up, speak out, speak early, speak often to say, we want diversity and inclusion, not because it's just the hot thing to do, it's the right thing to do. Here's what the research says. Harvard Business Review said teams that have diverse point of views, they solve problems quicker, faster. If everyone around the chapter leadership or in your executive council looks like you, could it be that your circle is too small? So how do we begin to think about recruiting and onboarding and engaging individuals of color to let them know that you matter to us? And we are making a commitment to you that we want to see you as a part of our organization. Here's the next thing. And this is the big idea. Number two, how do we stay consistent? And I believe staying consistent is the follow up and ensuring that people know that they matter. So, what does that look like? When I first joined Disney a number of years ago, I was about to leave the organization after literally 90 days. I was gone because I couldn't get anything done. And I got a call from the HR recruiter, and she said, "How's it going?" I said, "When I hit the 90-day mark, I am out of here. I'm gone." And she said, "What's wrong?" I said, "I can't get anything done. I don't know my way around," because I had worked for an organization that had 100 employees. Now I'm working for an organization that has 64,000 people working within 47 square miles, and they're all walking around singing "It's a Small World After All." And she said, "I'm going to connect you with two executives." And she connected me with Jim and with Brad. And what would have been only 90 days turned into 7 years, because I began to understand that they were consistent in following up with me as to how I'm doing. So, practical tip: be a sponsor, create an allyship, create a buddy system. When you recruit people of color, Black people, to join your chapter, ensure that they have a buddy that teaches them the rules of engagement, how things work.